Hey guys, Cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG online video, and today is Analytical Tuesday, so we are jumping straight into the game. We're playing Tool Drop today and Expanded. It's a little fun deck. Looks like we're versing some sort of Blastoise deck, Computer Search, all that shenanigans. So it's probably going to be a pretty interesting deck to play up against. It's probably something like Archie's Blastoise, if I were to guess. But we're playing Tool Drop. It's a very aggressive deck. I actually should have went to go second here, but I wasn't paying attention. I just clicked the yes. My bad. I'm recording this on the spot, so I was too busy talking to you guys when I was doing it. But that was our first mistake here. We are just going to end here and basically try to keep things going as smoothly as possible. We're going to grab the roller skates here, hopefully hit the heads on this so we can grab a Sigilif. Oh, and bam, we do. So the biggest weakness to this deck is Starling Megaphone. But 2-drop isn't played very often. So the thing is in Expanded, a lot of people have this tendency to run Tool Scrapper over Starling Megaphone, which is a big plus to Trubbish. All they do is get rid of 2 tool cards, and that's it, instead of losing like 6 or 7 or 8 tool cards, because that could really hurt us and put us in a really bad position, if that makes sense. So right now, we use the ability Tool Drop, does 20 damage for every tool card in play, or attached to a Pokemon, whether it's yours or your opponent. Then we use Dimension Valley to take away the colorless energies, so then, all we had to do is play the 1 energy. And this makes the deck really consistent. We only play the 4 Trubbish, and we run 4 Sigilif with Toolbox, allows us to have 4 tools up on them, and we run Headringers for things like Keldeo, stuff like that, which just adds things to the tool section for Tool Drop. And my opponent concedes. I don't really know why, but we'll just jump right into another game right away, win or lose. Rain or shine, in other words. And as you guys can tell, I haven't been playing too much this new season, I guess you could say. I'm only at 555 points in Expanded, and I've lost quite a lot of games, so I'm not really trying to grind the ladder or anything too much anymore. But we will be doing Ancient Origins pack opening as of whenever it's released on Pokemon. I'll probably upload that video to YouTube, and it will be on my live stream, so be ready for that. But we found a new game here. We are playing Tool Drop still, because Tool Drop is the droppiness, and we're going to choose to go second here just because we like to attack first every time. Now, our hand isn't the greatest, and this can be a problem with this deck. Occasionally, you just get kind of slower hands and stuff like that, and it kind of just slows us down and makes it kind of feel clunky, stuff like that, which we clearly don't want to happen. So we see the floor just start getting powered up, stuff like that. So this tells me that he probably doesn't have anything too important, but we missed a big key turn to start doing some damage, so we just have to pass. Now, Tool Drop likes to play aggressive and fast, and when you start not being like that, the deck loses its advantages that it has quite fast, if that makes sense. We do see the laser here, so we probably will die. I'm pretty sure he's doing 80 damage, 90 damage. So we will die to this floor just here. Now this is kind of big. It gives him the momentum and the prize lid, stuff like that. Now we have to promote a Trubbish and hope that we basically draw something good here. And we do draw an N. We'll play it right away. We do get the Headringer, so we'll use that right away. And we do get a Life Dew. I'm kind of iffy on what I want to do here, but I think I just have to play the Life Dew on this Trubbish and hope he doesn't KO us, essentially. It may look kind of bad because it kind of is a bad play. Our play here was like we need to stall for time, if that makes sense, because we're forcing him to play yet another Fairy Energy down just to attack with Florges. Now, he could get another Fairy Energy, retreat with it, go up in Gardevoir and kill us, stuff like that. But we do see the Tool Scrapper, which will get rid of this Headringer, which is really big right now. As I said before, things that remove tool cards are just really big, and he's going to get this free prize. Now, we're really far behind in this matchup. We only run 4 Trebushes with no way to get them back. We like to play aggressive, and we like to win while playing aggressive. And right now, we're just not able to do that, if that makes sense. We really want to be able to get up Sigilif, stuff like that, and start being able to do things that our opponent can't do anything about. And right now, we're just really not drawing the cards to be able to do this. We do manage to do 60 damage, which isn't very much whatsoever. This deck is able to KO multiple turns in a row, but sometimes it's just luck of the draw in trading card games, and you just kind of have to accept the fact that sometimes you aren't going to draw the greatest, and you gotta work around it. So that's what we're trying to do this game. We do see another Fairy Garden come down. We might even see a retreat, but who knows. I purposely didn't end him last turn because I kind of figured he had a better hand. He hasn't really been doing much besides just sitting here attacking, so if he has a deader hand, we aren't going to change that theory. See, here we'll see a Skyla probably for another laser, so he's able to attack us yet again and get the KO on the Trebus, doing exactly 70 damage with the laser, which will be crucial overall. He could also grab a supporter for next turn, which would also be very good. There's really not much he could really do besides that. I don't think with the Skyla, maybe a Professor's Letter, but we do see a Pokemon Communication, which is pretty good if he does have a Pokemon to show. So he does use the Pokemon Communication. He doesn't put down the Keldeo, which I find kind of odd in this situation, but maybe it's just me. So he's going to put any card on top of his deck right now. Or in his hand, I do believe. Oh, no, it's on top of your deck, yeah. So we're kind of waiting to see what we get. And it is a Xerneas, so he's going to try building up energy next turn probably. And that will be really useful with the Aromatisse, stuff like that. Now, Xerneas, this deck is kind of a counter to this deck. If we don't get off early kills and we allow them to set up just like any other fairy decks, when they get set up, they're at their best. And that's when we don't want to verse them, if you know what I'm saying. When fairies start getting set up, no deck is good against fairies unless if you can stop their setup. Now, this is very, very crucial that we stop their setup, but we couldn't, so we are basically behind in the game as of right now. And having one of our Trebushes prized too also puts us at a huge disadvantage that we really don't want to have, if that makes sense. If our Trebushes get prized, it means we have to work harder just to unprize them, if that makes sense. And it really, really hurts the deck, and you just can't factor getting everything in your deck all the time with Pokemon. The way Pokemon plays, it's a very random luck-based game in that manner, that the game can punish you just by not really you doing anything whatsoever, if that makes sense. You can be punished just by losing the 6 prize cards right off the bat. If you get 3 Trebushes prized or 3 Sigilifts prized, you just won't be able to do enough damage overall, if that makes sense. And that can really, really hurt this deck, and you really don't want to see that happen in this deck, but sometimes it just happens, and you kind of just have to deal with it, if that makes sense. There's not much you can really do about it in that sense, but it just kind of hurts your flow, and you just kind of have to work around it. Now, in this situation, we got off to a bad hand start. We didn't really get the explosive start that we wanted. Unlike the game before, where my opponent kind of quit out early, we had a good hand coming in, and then our opponent surrendered. But in this game, it's showing the complete opposite. We kind of got a slower start, which hurts the deck. We like to play speedy, and it's going to really, really hurt our plays and stuff like that when we don't play speedy as this deck. Now, if we were playing the fairy deck, he is doing everything perfectly. He slowed down, bought time, got energies on the field. He can get out Mega Gardevoirs and stuff like that now, and it's really, really hurting us overall. Now, with that being said, we could technically still come back if our opponent misplays kind of hard. Now, if he comes up here and let's say he breakthrough skills instead of, X-Blasting, we could very easily win this game. In fact, this is kind of a misplay from my opponent, and it kind of gives me an opportunity to capitalize as long as we can get the tool cards that we need to capitalize. Because he put all of his energy on one Pokemon. Now, usually this would be like a decent game plan or something like that. Like, normally it wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world, except you're playing fairies and you want to conserve your energies, if that makes sense. But he put them all on one Pokemon, which is risking a lot. He's basically risking it for the biscuit, if you get what I'm saying. Now, seeing that we did get this big advantage off of this, he has no energies left on his board besides this one fairy energy. Means he can attach one fairy energy more down, and this really just puts us in a really commanding position now. Now that we can just Jirachi, grab my Lysander, anything that he tries to build up now, we can just shut it down right away. Because he will come out with this Xerneas, and he's going to spread energy, and he's probably going to stack it on one of the Gardevoirs. He's going to put one extra energy there and move it out, put another one over there. This way he has to do less micromanaging overall, but it's the worst play overall, if that makes sense. because when you do this stuff, it really hurts your energy flow as fairies, and that's what we really want to interrupt, is when they stack their energies. Now, our opponent played kind of smart, and he separated the energies a little bit, stuff like that. Now, that is going to happen, and you aren't going to be really able to do anything about it. We just kind of have to suck it up. But notice these two have headringers on it, so they require more energy to do a basic attack in general. So we're just going to do something like this, take this out, kill it, take our 2 prizes. We didn't hit our last Trubbish though, which is a huge thing, because this is the only Trubbish we have left. So we can still lose this game if my opponent decides to go up into the EX, but if he goes into like something like the Rainbow Spear here, it'd be the best play that he could possibly do right about now. If he would go back into one of these Gardeviers or something like that, he'd just straight up basically lose. He really wants to stay into the Xerneas, and he wants to Rainbow Spear this game. And when he does Rainbow Spear, he'll get the KO, and it will hurt our momentum overall. We are kind of behind in this matchup. We really want something to be able to help us. Another Trubbish would be nice, or more energy, but we just don't have that to our luxury at the moment. So we basically just have to stall here and see if we have enough energy in my deck. I am going to count it up right now. And we do actually have 2 more energies left up in my deck, which means we could technically stall and see if we can get these things going and stuff like that. I could also try and go for like a sneaky end to 1 or lower my opponent's hand size, which I think I'm going to try to do. I'm going to see what's left in my deck to make sure I do actually have the energies, and that we do have the 3 energies, and I will take this end. Even though it hurts me too, it hurts my opponent more. He has a big old hand, and I just have this 1 card in my hand, if that makes sense. Now, see, if you would have hit an energy there, and then top deck an energy, we would have been actually in a pretty good position. We would have been waiting, we would have took 70 damage, or 80 damage from the Xerneas, and we would have been able to cut him win back for 90, and stuff like that. But this matchup is pretty much over, if you guys haven't realized. The Trubbish prize here basically won the game. Now, that's what I was saying, how Pokemon can punish you, even for you really not doing anything to deserve the punishment. Now, if I would have taken that prize right away, I wouldn't have had that, if that makes sense. Like, I would have had that for Trubbish, and we'd probably be pretty fine. And just to make sure that I am correct, we do only have the 3 Trubbishes in our discard, and we do have the we already went through our deck, is what I'm saying, and we already saw that we didn't have a Trubbish there, if that makes sense. So here we're gonna try and probably stall out for a little bit. I don't think we'll win this game. My opponent got a big chorus already, and we saw a DCE, which I think is pretty odd in my opinion. Usually you just see the fairy energies and that's it, but we're probably gonna just see the Mega Gardevoir come up here and take the KO. He should have plenty of fairy energy in play to just one-shot this, and if he doesn't, I'll be really surprised. We do see a Headringer for the Jirachi. It's basically, like whatever, the Jirachi is basically useless in this matchup. And we do see him take this prize. Now, we do have hard charms and stuff left in the deck, if I am correct, and I am not, so that means we just basically can't win the game anymore. Now, normally I would say never give up, but we're going to concede this game just because we know we can't win anymore. We lost because our 4th Trubbish was prized, and we just got punished by the game for that, and that we had a slower start. But you can always come back, that's the thing, and we did make all the correct plays, if you guys were noticing. There may have been slight minimal plays that maybe would have changed the game a little bit differently, but I'm pretty sure I played to the best of my ability that I thought I would. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up button, head over to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday for the next video. So peace out, have a great one, guys.